Hello, welcome to Ghost Prime Transformers Reviews. In this video, I'll be taking a look at the Netflix War for Cybertron Trilogy Walmart exclusive spoiler pack, Nemesis Prime. So, this guy is a redeco of the Siege Nemesis Prime. Now, Nemesis Prime first actually started out an Armada. The first name of Nemesis Prime was Armada, redeco of the smaller Bendy Prime from that series. It had taken its deco from an earlier Black Optimus Prime called Scourge that was first in the Transformers Robots in Disguise series. There's been various black versions of Optimus Prime throughout Transformers history, even going back to a Generation 1. I want to say it's a reissue. I'm not sure, but I know it's a JAPCON exclusive, Japanese exclusive Black Convoy. Now, there was also a Nucleon Quest Super Convoy. Both of those are Autobots, not Decepticons. He wasn't even a Decepticon technically until I think Rid Robots in Disguise was the first one where he was a Decepticon, or actually evil. So this retains that evil Decepticon Optimus Prime without much backstory, which I do assume we're going to get in the Earthrise series coming up from Netflix. He has some notable changes from the other Nemesis Prime or Black Convoy that came out recently in the Siege line, which is the same thing. It's a redeco of this Prime. He is a lighter shade of black. Lighter shade of black sounds weird, but he is. It's a really, really dark charcoal. It looks and appears black, but it is actually much lighter than that. He has darker red windows as opposed to more the pinkish, which is kind of common on the Japanese versions of the Black Convoys. And he has the teal that shows up here, where the Japanese one has teal here. I don't have that version of him, but there's a lot of deco changes, which I'll just throw up some images and show you to compare on that one. I do have a few Black Convoys, so I'll do some comparisons there. Now, this guy comes with a lot of weapons, but we first saw those weapons with the Power of the Primes Nemesis Prime, which is a fantastic figure. But this one was not quite designed for those weapons, so you got to get a little creative when you're putting them all on him. So, without any further ado, let's get to the review. All right, and let's quickly go over the box. Now, he is much like the Ultra Magnus box. I unfortunately do not have the Ultra Magnus box. I didn't want another Ultra Magnus. So it says spoilers inside in a bunch of different languages. Has the weight. Looks kind of like almost like a gun case. Right here, if you look on the top, it's got like a handle, the Decepticon logo, kind of giving a hint what's inside. Spoilers inside, spoilers inside. I wonder what could be inside. Could it be Nemesis Prime? Maybe, because that's on the back, on the side of the box. I don't know. Also, I do want to say for all you people that keep your boxes, be careful, because this tape will rip this image right off, which is very annoying. I like to keep my boxes, and that sucks. So just so you're aware. The bottom, just kind of nothing. And the top actually opens up with these little tabs in here. It says spoilers aside, like so. On opening the package for the first time, you will see this inside there. And this has this, see if I can get inside there, heavy black stuff in it. Now, I have not opened this. I know what's in it. And I will open this for you guys now if I get this tape off on camera. That seems to peel off nice and easy. Gotta open up. And it's got this Play-Doh inside. Well, let's take that out. Well, I can't get all of it out, but I got enough out to take out what has to be the only spoiler. Now, I do know, even though I don't have the Ultra Magnus, I do know that these are Energon cubes that come in here. And they are little rubber Energon cubes. They feel like kind of hard rubber in this little baggie. So that has to be the spoiler, because that's really the only thing that's spoiled is the Energon cubes. Maybe they have something to do in the show. I'm getting them out of the packaging here. See if we can get close up on them. They have a nice translucency to them. They're really well colored. They look much better than the ones that we got in the full-on weapons cache box that we got with the Centurion drone. These are very nice. They're really small. Do a quick comparison here with, here's the ones we got the Centurion drone, and here are the ones that are here. So these are more like Energon snacks, as where these are Energon cubes. And once you wash your hands from getting that black crap all over them, you could take out the instruction sheet and take a look at the different figures that come in the box. You have Giza, which originally came with the Power of the Primes, Nemesis Primes. You have Fangatron, which is a repaint of, I believe it's called Slitherfang, which I do not have. And you get Nemesis Prime. So opening these up, again, is very nice, very clear. Let me pull them back a little bit. This is a very big set of instructions here. Again, done very clearly. So transform Fangatron into his platform mode, as well as a shield. Giza on the other side is transforming Nemesis Prime and adding the trailer. Now, one thing I do want to show is this is the final version right here. So it shows the gun on top of the cab. That is not how I do it. Also, one of the things you could do also with this is take off the little repair drone and the shield, put them on as like this way so you could be armed that way in battle. Another thing I just do not do. And it shows where you could store all his weapons, which is more of the way I like to keep him, right there, which I will go over in the review. All right, starting off with the sword that you get, the Star Saber sort of sword. With this version, it has this gray plastic, which looks okay on its own. It is slightly translucent, but it's exactly the same as you got with, as we saw with the Power of the Primes version here. Now, the Power of the Primes has a bit of a brighter red paint. I don't know how much it shows up on camera, but it has a bit of a brighter red paint and a much darker, nicer looking metallic silver for the plastic. Well, this looks very, very cheap in comparison. Now, all the ones that are cast in this are unfortunately the same. And you get two of these. This is focus. These are the large double-barreled cannons that can be placed on his arms. Quick comparison with the Power of the Primes one, as you could tell, again with that plastic, making the Power of the Primes the better of the two, but again, not so bad on their own, as long as you don't have something to compare it to. And the other sword you get is Giza, which actually is a transformer. There's zero paint on this, and is done entirely in that sort of translucent, silvery plastic. Here is the Power of the Primes version. Let me get that good in focus. Kind of hold it like there. If you look, his eye has been painted on the Power of the Primes, and again, it's done in that nice silver. Now, to transform this, it's pretty simple. You just take this little piece here, the hilt, pull that around, open up the sword wings, like so, and then turn them around. And there you have Giza in his bird mode. Now, one thing you could do with him is there's a slot here with his feet, and you could there's a slot here, and they go like this, holds in there pretty tight, and then you could mount that someplace, anywhere where there's a 5mm peg, mostly. You also get the same gun that came with the Siege Optimus Prime, done in the black color. Blast effect which is just like Slitherfang's. I believe this is the only difference is this pink. And you get Fangatron, which here he is in his mode that's either a ramp or a shield, whichever you like. And he does have a little, if I get that out, he does have a little handle. You could put it like that, so he could be held as a shield. Now to transform this guy, it's pretty simple. You just kind of take it and open it up like that. Take this piece here, fold it down, fold his head down like so. Now these are little treads, as you could tell, kind of go like that, and then push up the little handle as a tail. And he's kind of like a little snake, which is kind of neat. Mine is a little loose right here, which is, I mean, it's not too bad. It stands up, but if I shake it a little bit, it kind of falls. Of course, you get Nemesis himself and his trailer. So let's take a closer look at the figure and the trailer. Starting in out with the figure itself. Let's get in real close here so we get super close. Just how he looks here. So he's done up in this black color. He's got nice looking paintwork around the windows there. I love the silver highlights. He's got silver paint all the way down. He's got the molded plastic silver legs and shins, black legs. All the same molded detail as the Siege version without any of the battle damage. Now the black is a really dark charcoal. It's not really black. It's hard to tell, but going in close, maybe I could get in here. This might be the same color. It's hard to tell. You can kind of see it on camera. It looks black in person, but when you set it actually next to a deep black, you could tell that it's very much not a black. I do like it. And one of the things that I think is really interesting is painted red there for the triangle. I think that's kind of a cool little tiny tiny detail that you don't usually get. He does not have any matrix in the matrix chamber. This is something that I would love to have seen, but he does have a lot of accessories, so I kind of get it. Before comparisons, let's take a look at his trailer. So here is his trailer. Now this is something that I really, really like. The paintwork on this is gorgeous. It uses this beautiful, beautiful, like flat teal. I don't know if you can see in the shine where it's more of a flat than it is shiny. It's not glossy at all. So it leaves the gloss to the silver here, or the shine to the silver. And the Decepticon logo is also, there we go. You get in there nice, so it's outlined in that, or it looks to be outlined in the teal. I like this color for the paint. I think this is probably the best looking trailer that we have in the Earthrise Siege line out of the three ones that I do have. You also, just like the rest, if you get that door open, this piece comes out as a shield, which in my opinion is silly. And then opening it up here, you have two different colors of black or charcoal. This is more of a really dark charcoal silver tone that coincides with the arms on the repair drone. Repair drone's done in all black, and again does come off and extends. So you got the two different tones here with the kind of charcoal silver in the center here, and the arms where the base and the repair drone itself are done in a black. And that pegs in via these two holes, just exactly like the Earthrise Prime. Tons of detail. Oddly, it's very hard to actually store anything on these pegs that it comes with, which is a shame. They should have done something to make it this a little bit more compatible with the weapons that they packaged with it that were not originally created for it. I do like that it has painted rims. Otherwise, this could probably use some upgrades, just the same as the non-F upgrades, which I do not have as of yet for the Earthrise Prime. Okay, let's show a couple different ways you could add weapons to this guy. So he does come with his blaster, and that could go in either hand. Right there. And he has his backpack, and you could take the trailer, open it up, take the repair drone out, There's a peg here. You can peg it onto his back. Like so. You have him kind of any way you want. Take Slitherfang. You can transform him back into that shield that I showed earlier. And you could peg that shield directly into the 5mm peg if you could get this thing from, stop that peg from going back in. Like that. So it kind of mimics the Siege shield. Like so. It's one of the ways you could do it. And take everything off because there are more weapons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take his, this is my preference, and also in the instructions, gun in the back. Kind of like a large smokestack. You can take these guns. You can see they have 2 pegs on the bottom. They have peg holes, 5mm pegs on his arms. Put them in the topmost so it sits down a little lower on his arm on either side. Take Giza, and what I do with Giza is I put it in his right hand here because for some reason I cannot get this blade in his right hand, only his left hand. They are slightly different sizes, which is annoying. I'm not sure if yours is like that. Maybe mileage may vary. So this is sort of how I have him armed up. So he has a giant cannon, sort of like the Armada figure and the Power of the Primes figure. He doesn't look so bad with them. I think he looks pretty menacing with these giant guns on him. They are far too big. The swords look good. I like this very large weaponry on Transformers. I think it looks ridiculously silly, but awesome. So it's just something that I really, really like. So let's bring in some other figures for comparison. Let's start out with the very first Nemesis Prime. Now, not Scourge, Nemesis Prime. This is the first one named Nemesis Prime, which was the Armada. You can see kind of off black, not even really black, sort of like a really dark blue is what it looks like to be. Here he is with the Scourge figure that came out in Robots in Disguise in 2001. I believe it's the San Diego Comic-Con Nemesis Prime. All right, and here he is with the Leader Class Power of the Primes, Optimus Prime. I'm going to have to move my camera for this one. So as you can see, it's a quite significant size difference, primarily due to this one being made up mostly of the trailer. But let's see if I can get in real close to this head sculpt. Now, one of the things I did always like, and I believe I mentioned it in my review of the Power of the Primes, is this head sculpt. This head sculpt looks like a Decepticon logo, but it still resembles Optimus Prime, which I find very intriguing. This one, I can see if I get both. I can't get both of them in the same shot. This one is just a straight repaint of Primes, as to where this one has that nice looking evil Decepticon sort of look to it, which is kind of awesome. I really kind of would like to have seen that carry over to some of the newer ones. I would like to have seen that as kind of a running change to a Nemesis Prime. It is something I quite enjoy. However, you know, it still works quite well, and it's just a very minor complaint. You can see how the weapons on this guy mimic this one, or this one mimics this one, in a way that it works. These are just very oversized and very large, almost silly on his arms, where these ones still look very big on his arms, but kind of fit the overall character much better. Now, Giza I find is a little small on this. It's kind of a good size here. Like I said earlier, I like large swords on figures. I myself have a 5-foot sword, so I'm kind of, this is sort of a personal preference. Paintwork wise, they're very similar, very, very similar to each other. Not much differences across the board. Now you can kind of see where the dark straight black comes in versus the kind of dark charcoal of this version right here. Lastly, I would like to compare this one to the Siege version from the Takara line. I don't have that one, unfortunately, so I'm just gonna have to stick a picture right here so you can see all the differences. There's a fair bit more teal on it. It's a much darker black. It does not have all these weapons. It only has its gun. It does, well, I lie. It does come with a sword. It comes with a sword that came with, I forgot which figure. I know it came with a few different ones. I think it was Sentinel Prime. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. But you can see much more teal on the Japanese one than you can on the US one. I honestly really like the US one's coloration. Here he is with Siege Prime that he is made after. The exact same mold. So you can see sort of the differences where it's painted, where it's not. Retains everything the same. There is zero differences as far as the mold is concerned. So because this is just the Siege mold redone in black, I will not be going through transformation. And here he is in truck mode. I'm all pegged in, there we go. So in truck mode, you get much more red showing up on the front of the cab here. Get real nice and close. I like this detail. I like this detail a lot. It looks really good. It's, you know, he's got a couple little, not really what to call them here, what would be a fuel tank, painted individually silver. This is different from the Japan one. The Japan one has a red window that has this window here, which is actually not painted on this. It's teal, and there's a teal clear pieces of plastic here, a pinkish window, no silver accents at all on the Japanese version, which I could show. I get a show picture right next to it. Let me just get the camera nice down low here. So let's put the picture right here, the Japanese one in truck mode, so you could take a look. So as you can see, there's a lot more going on as far as the difference in color on the Japanese one, which is good, which is really good. However, in my opinion, this one is the better of the two, just because I dig the red and the silver accents. I don't think it really needs more than that, besides the nice purple logo right there on the side of the cab. So let's see how he looks with the trailer. So the trailer here, you just put the stands up. Now, different than Earthrise Prime. Earthrise Prime has a much further back fifth wheel hole. This one is much closer to the cab. Now, it doesn't give way to a lot of turning radius. However, that's how it looks. I think the look is right. It's kind of close, but I think the look is right, so it looks really good. It just doesn't have a large turning radius in this mode. Now, he does have all his weapons, right? There is one unfortunate thing about the weapons. So he has gun, 2 double barrel blasters, Giza, and the Star Saber sword. So all of this can't fit. So in the instructions, it shows to just peg the cannon in like that, and that's how it shows. In the instructions, that's the official way. Now, what I've seen people do is take the same 5mm pegs, take both of these giant guns, stick them on top like this, which if I could actually hold on to it. So, like that, which, it looks all right. It looks okay. But kind of borrowing a little bit from the Nemesis Prime, Power of the Primes, I would take this flap here, and there's this 5mm port that's for the side of the arm for Prime. Move that down on either side. Just put this trailer over for a minute. And what you do is If I could get this flap down, there we go. You can take either one of these holes on the pegs and put it in this hole. I like it a little on the lower end, that way it kind of covers up the side there. And you could just sort of plug it in like that on either side. So, and they stay really, really nicely. So what you have is giant guns on the side of the cab. It may look kind of silly, but it's a much better than the top, I think, especially when you add the trailer to it. Like so. Almost an Ultra Magnus vibe. And you can still add the gun on the top if you so desire. One of the things that you can do is you could also put, well, you kind of put it here. You could have to get the gun off and put the sword like that, and Giza could fit on top of the sword. That's kind of silly. And mine's actually relatively loose in there. If you turn the cab upside down, it just falls right out. So that's not a viable solution. There's no good place to put this when he is in truck mode. Now, if you don't want this up here, what I've been doing is I just store it right under here, just like that. It doesn't really get in the way of anything, not too much. A little bit of his feet. It's not like you're gonna be doing a lot of turning anyway. Kind of looks like that, but you still will have to put this inside here. Now, that's one of the good things is all of these accessories will fit, rattling around, of course, inside the trailer. So that's not too bad. It's not something that I prefer to do. I'd like to see him battled up, you know, armored up. You can't really even put this right here on the side. I guess you can a little bit. It just, again, looks really silly. I guess that will work. That's not something I thought about till just now. Okay, and real quick, one thing I almost forgot to show is the Slitherfang guy right here. So you could take the ramp here down from the trailer. Why do you say standing up? Just open that up. And you could take this guy here, Slitherfang, Fangatron, whatever his name is, and stick him like that. So you could have a longer ramp. And you could also connect it to another piece here. So you could have this be part of a longer base and have a sort of a railway to, it looks like a repair bay. Pretty cool. You can connect all these things together is something that I like, and I haven't had a lot of time to actually sit and put all the pieces together. Maybe one day I'll do that and film it. That'd be kind of cool. So real quick, let me get into some comparisons of this guy in truck mode. Real quick comparison. Here he is with the power of the Prime. Let's see if I can get a better view of this, see exactly how big it is. So there's the two trailers together, like that. So it's about the same length, although he's much smaller, of course. One thing I did want to show is I've forgotten to compare these two originally. I still love the teal on the inside, sort of the reverse of this. All right. Here he is with the regular Siege version. There you can see sort of the different paint apps they got going on, and different ways that it was painted. Which I dig it a lot. Here he is with Robots in Disguise Red Scourge, the one that started it all. So you can see there's definitely teal highlights on this that do not show up on this one. This one does not have any of the teal. Here he is with the first of his namesake, the Armada Nemesis Prime right here. I am missing a smokestack on this guy. He is probably another one of my bins. I need to go look for that. But some teal does show up on this in the way of around the arms here. Again, no teal here. Here he is with the San Diego Comic-Con Classics version. Now, it's the only version I have with blue windows. I don't know why they decided to make it blue. Maybe to be different from the Japanese version, but he has blue windows, which I always thought was kind of weird. And just for fun, there he is with the, I believe they're Transformers Q, Nemesis Prime. I definitely love a good black colored Prime. So all in all, he is a nice entry into the Nemesis Prime collection. I do really always like a black repainted Prime, and as long as I can afford it, I'll get it. A lot of them tend to be very expensive. This one is done all right. I wish that the plastic they used on this was the darker plastic and not as translucent. It kind of gives it a cheap feel, even though the plastic quality is just the same. It's pretty good. He doesn't have a lot of places to actually store the weapons. I would have liked to have seen some holes tooled into the trailer so he could hold some of the things like Giza or the sword together. Maybe add the guns. You can hold them in a couple different places on the cab, which is good. Overall, I don't see too much wrong with it. I am a fan of these, and I'm glad they came out with them. Still, though, in comparison to him or the Power of the Primes one, I do prefer the Power of the Primes one. Mainly because the Power of the Primes one actually advances a little bit of the head, making it look more of a Decepticon. This is the straight repaint of Prime. Again, this isn't a complaint as much as it is something I would have liked to have seen going forward in Nemesis Primes. And it does not carry that design over. It is something I really enjoyed. However, I'm happy with this. He should be showing up in stores really soon. I ordered him online. He was delayed a couple times. Finally showed up. The rest of the line's been delayed, but you will see him very soon if you haven't already. So please hit that thumbs up button. Hit the downvote button if you have to. Subscribe. I'll see you guys next time very soon.